So in this video we're going to make a interlocking shape, or two interlocking shapes. We're going to create these two rings that interlock. So an example of this might be the Olympics flag, for instance, where it has the interlocking rings, or the symbol for male and female is sometimes represented by two interlocking rings. Or you could also use this symbol to represent marriage, maybe, where two rings are interlocking. Regardless, we're going to have this idea of interlocking shapes. If you look at this in outline mode, there's actually a gap in between of these. So it's not just that there's a thick stroke around the outside of the shape, and also one has to go in and one has to go out, so it's complicated a little bit. This demonstration is a little bit involved. It's not really quite a beginner level demonstration. I'm going to show you the steps first of all. So on my second artboard I've kind of listed the various steps. In outline mode you can see that I start off with a stroke, so it's just a circle with a stroke. You can't see the stroke because the stroke is an appearance, so in outline mode we don't see that. We then duplicate that, so we've got two rings, and then we convert it to a filled object by expanding the stroke, so we've got this filled object. The next step, I've coloured this so that you can see it more clearly, and actually so that I can see it more clearly when I'm working on it too. I've coloured the offset, so I've made an offset of this ring, and that offset then I need to bring to the front so that I can cut away from the shape underneath by using Pathfinder minus front. But I only need a portion of it, so we're going to cut it with the knife here and here and then delete that large part around the outside, and then we use this to cut that piece out. And then basically we do the same thing for the other ring. So we offset it, we make sure it's in the front, we cut it, and then we minus front in Pathfinder, and then we have a finished result. So let's start off by creating, I'm going to set my colors to no fill with a black stroke, and we'll increase the stroke a little bit. I'm not quite sure what that'll be, so let's drag this out and see. It's got a little bit bigger. Maybe somewhere around about there, so 10 point. And then, as I said, the next step is to duplicate this shape. I'm just dragging it, holding shift or keep it as an exact 45 degrees, and then option duplicates it. Okay, now that I've got to this point, remember, I need to go to Object, Expand, press OK. So now these are a filled object. I'll zoom in on this a little bit. So now these are filled objects. You can see that by doing Command Y and going into outline mode. So now the next thing to do is to select one of these rings and go to Object, Path, Offset Path. And let's preview this. That's about right. So I'll say it's a 5 point for the offset, so it's basically half whatever the original stroke was. You could vary that obviously, and then go ahead and press OK. I'm going to go ahead and give this a color, and I'm going to actually set it to 100% and 100%. Actually, let's change this one to 75. So the magenta is 75, the yellow is 100%. Doesn't really matter what color it is, by the way. Then I'm going to bring this to the top. Now, the one that I want to cut away from actually is this one right here, and I can't bring it to the top because it's grouped with the other shape. So I'm going to ungroup it. Shift Command G is the keyboard shortcut, or you can choose Object Ungroup. Now I can select just the offset shape, bring that to the front, select the original ring, the one that I didn't offset, and then in Pathfinder I'm going to choose this second icon, which is minus front, except that I don't want to do it from both sides, remember. So I'm going to choose the knife tool, cut through here, and then cut through here. Delete this bit. Now we can select this shape and this little bit that's left over, do minus front, and then we've got that. The next step, this is really repeating what we just did, so we're going to select the other ring. This time it's the one that's got the piece cut out of it. Do Object, Path, Offset Path. I'm going to use the same setting of 5 point. Go ahead and press OK. I'll change the color. Doesn't really matter what the color is, so let's just choose a color, and then bring this one to the front. Again, I need to cut it, so choosing the knife tool, I'm going to cut it either side of this part of this ring. delete that large bit on the outside and this other piece. Select this, choose this shape, sorry, choose this ring and this shape, and do minus front. And there we have it. We've got the two rings interlocking. We don't want to put a stroke here, which is a suggestion that people oftentimes make and I've seen done before, because you might want to use this as a negative, or you might want to put a color behind it, for instance. So if I was to put a color behind this, if I'd used a stroke, that stroke would show up here. Also, of course, the stroke would have to go around all the way around, and then it would be either overlapping this one or overlapping that one. It wouldn't really work. So we need to actually cut those shapes out of it. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope this was informative, and possibly you will listen to another one of my videos someday, somewhere. Bye bye.